Alright, so you're standing in Holt Renfrew or scrolling through Nordstrom Canada, and you see a pair of shoes with a price tag that makes you pause. 2,000 Canadian dollars, 3,000, sometimes more. And the salesperson is telling you it's an investment, it's luxury, it's worth it. But here's what nobody tells you. The luxury shoe industry in Canada is built on a very specific business model, and it's not about giving you better shoes. It's about making you believe that paying more means getting more. The truth is far more complicated, and it's worth understanding before you spend that kind of money. This video isn't about luxury shoes in general. It's about which luxury shoe brands in Canada are actually engineered to justify their price, and which ones are just selling you a name, a logo, and a carefully crafted story that falls apart the moment you examine the actual product. We're going to walk through 5 brands that Canadians spend enormous amounts of money on every single year, brands you've seen in every major department store from Vancouver to St. John's, and we're going to look at what you're actually paying for. Then we'll talk about 3 brands that genuinely offer something different, something that actually justifies the investment. But before we get into the specifics, you need to understand one thing. The Canadian luxury footwear market is concentrated. Most of what you see in Holt Renfrew or Nordstrom Canada is controlled by 3 major conglomerates: LVMH, Kering, and Richemont. These companies own dozens of brands, and they've engineered a pricing structure that has almost nothing to do with the actual cost of making the shoe. Let's get specific about each one because saying something is overpriced is easy. Showing you the numbers and the engineering is another story. Starting at number 5, we have Gucci. Gucci is owned by Kering, the French luxury conglomerate that also owns Balenciaga, Saint Laurent, and Alexander McQueen. In Canada, Gucci shoes retail between 2,000 and 5,000 Canadian dollars depending on the style. A basic leather sneaker from Gucci will cost you around 2,400 Canadian dollars at Holt Renfrew. The same style, made with the same leather, from a brand like Echo or Allen Edmonds, costs between 400 and 600 Canadian dollars. That's a markup of roughly 400%. Now here's the thing, Gucci does use quality leather. The construction is solid, but it's not 4 times better. The difference between a 2,000 Canadian dollar Gucci sneaker and a 500 Canadian dollar Echo sneaker is not in the leather quality or the construction method. It's in the brand recognition, the marketing budget, and the retail markup. Gucci spends billions every year on advertising, celebrity endorsements, and fashion shows. That cost gets passed directly to you. When you buy a pair of Gucci shoes, you're not just buying shoes. You're buying a piece of that marketing machine. The Canadian Competition Bureau has actually investigated luxury brands multiple times for misleading marketing claims about craftsmanship and exclusivity. Gucci's marketing often emphasizes Italian heritage and artisanal production, but the reality is that many Gucci shoes are manufactured in factories in Vietnam, Cambodia, and China. The same factories that produce shoes for dozens of other brands at a fraction of the price. The leather is sourced from tanneries in Italy, which is legitimate, but the actual construction happens in Southeast Asia. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not the story Gucci tells you. The durability of a Gucci shoe is good, typically lasting 3 to 5 years with regular wear, but that's not exceptional. A well-made Clark shoe will last just as long, and you'll spend a quarter of the price. The real problem with Gucci is that you're paying for depreciation. A Gucci shoe loses value immediately after purchase. If you buy a pair for 2,400 Canadian dollars and try to sell it 6 months later, you'll be lucky to get 1,200. That's a 50% loss in value. With a brand like Allen Edmonds, which costs 600 Canadian dollars, you'll lose maybe 20% of the value, and you can resell it much more easily because there's an actual secondary market for quality shoes, not just brand names. At number 4, we have Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton is owned by LVMH, the largest luxury conglomerate in the world, and it's the most expensive brand on this list. A basic Louis Vuitton leather shoe in Canada costs between 2,800 and 4,000 Canadian dollars. The most popular model, the LV Archlight, retails for around 3,500 Canadian dollars. Here's what you need to know about Louis Vuitton. The brand is almost entirely dependent on logo recognition. The Archlight shoe, for example, is not a particularly innovative design. It's a chunky sneaker with an exaggerated sole. The sole itself is made from rubber, which is fine, but it's not special. The upper is leather, which is decent quality, but again, not exceptional. What you're paying for is the LV monogram canvas and the brand prestige. The manufacturing is done primarily in Spain and Italy, which is legitimate, but the quality control is inconsistent. There are numerous complaints from Canadian consumers on Reddit and consumer review sites about Louis Vuitton shoes arriving with defects, loose stitching, and uneven leather. The Canadian Competition Bureau has received complaints about Louis Vuitton's pricing practices and their claims about exclusivity. The brand deliberately limits production to maintain artificial scarcity, which is a classic luxury strategy, but not a reflection of superior quality. The durability of Louis Vuitton shoes is moderate. The chunky sole design, while fashionable, actually puts more stress on the upper leather, and many owners report that the shoes start showing wear after 18 to 24 months of regular use. The resale value is slightly better than Gucci because Louis Vuitton has more brand loyalty, but you're still looking at a 40 to 50% loss in value within the first year. The real issue with Louis Vuitton is that you're paying for a monogram. If you remove the LV logo from the shoe, it becomes a generic chunky sneaker that you could buy from a mid-range brand for $300 Canadian. The engineering and materials don't justify the price difference. At number 3, we have Prada. Prada is owned by Prada S.p.A., an Italian luxury company, and it positions itself as more refined and minimalist than Gucci or Louis Vuitton. In Canada, Prada shoes range from $2,000 to $4,000 Canadian depending on the style. A basic Prada leather loafer costs around $2,200 Canadian. The appeal of Prada is that the designs are more understated, and the brand has a reputation for quality that's slightly better than Gucci or Louis Vuitton. The leather is sourced from Italian tanneries, which is legitimate, and the construction is done in Italy, which is a point of pride for the brand. However, here's the problem. Prada's quality advantage is marginal. A Prada shoe is maybe 10 to 15% better made than a Gucci shoe, but it costs roughly the same amount. You're paying almost the same price for a slightly better product. The real issue is that Prada's minimalist aesthetic has become trendy, and the brand has capitalized on that trend by raising prices. 5 years ago, a Prada loafer cost around $1,500 Canadian. Today, the same loafer costs $2,200. That's a 47% price increase in 5 years, while the actual quality and materials have remained essentially the same. The durability of Prada shoes is good, typically lasting 4 to 6 years with regular wear, which is better than Gucci or Louis Vuitton. However, Prada shoes are also prone to specific issues. The minimalist design means less structural support, and many owners report that the shoes develop creases and wear patterns that are visible and difficult to repair. The resale value of Prada is slightly better than Gucci because the designs are more timeless, but you're still looking at a 30 to 40% loss in value within the first year. The Canadian Competition Bureau has investigated Prada for misleading claims about Italian craftsmanship, as some Prada shoes are actually manufactured in Romania and Bulgaria, not Italy, despite the brand's emphasis on Italian heritage. At number 2, we have Jimmy Choo. Jimmy Choo is owned by Capri Holdings, an American luxury conglomerate that also owns Versace and Michael Kors. In Canada, Jimmy Choo shoes range from $800 to $3,000 Canadian depending on the style. The brand is primarily known for women's footwear, particularly heels and evening shoes. Jimmy Choo positions itself as more accessible than Gucci or Prada, but the quality does not match the price. A basic Jimmy Choo heel costs around $1,200 Canadian. The same heel from a brand like Haan, which is owned by LVMH, but positioned as a more accessible luxury brand, costs around $500 Canadian. The difference in quality is minimal. Both use similar leather, similar construction methods, and similar manufacturing locations. The real difference is brand positioning. Jimmy Choo has built a reputation as the luxury heel brand, particularly through celebrity endorsements and fashion magazine features. That reputation is worth money to the brand, but it's not worth the price difference to you. The durability of Jimmy Choo shoes is moderate to poor. Heels, by their nature, are not durable shoes. The heel itself is the weak point, and Jimmy Choo heels are prone to heel wear and damage. Many owners report that the heels need replacement after 6 to 12 months of regular wear, which adds another $200 to $300 Canadian to the cost of ownership. The resale value of Jimmy Choo is poor. Unlike Gucci or Prada, which have some brand loyalty, Jimmy Choo shoes are difficult to resell. The secondary market is small, and you'll lose 60 to 70% of the value within the first year. The Canadian Competition Bureau has received complaints about Jimmy Choo's marketing claims regarding craftsmanship, as many Jimmy Choo shoes are manufactured in Vietnam and China, not in Europe as the brand sometimes implies. At number 1, we have Christian Louboutin. Christian Louboutin is owned by Kering, the same parent company as Gucci, and it's the most iconic luxury shoe brand in Canada. A basic Christian Louboutin shoe costs between 1,200 and 5,000 Canadian dollars, depending on the style. The brand is famous for its red sole, which is trademarked and instantly recognizable. Here's the thing about Christian Louboutin. The red sole is literally the only thing that differentiates the shoe from a generic luxury shoe. The sole itself is made from rubber, the same rubber used in shoes that cost a fraction of the price. The upper is leather, which is decent quality, but not exceptional. The construction is solid, but it's not better than brands that cost significantly less. The entire value proposition of Christian Louboutin is based on the red sole and the brand prestige that comes with it. When you buy a Christian Louboutin shoe, you're not buying superior engineering or materials. You're buying the status symbol. The Canadian Competition Bureau has investigated Christian Louboutin multiple times for misleading marketing claims about craftsmanship and exclusivity. The brand claims to use premium materials and artisanal production methods, but the reality is that most Christian Louboutin shoes are manufactured in Italy and France, but in large-scale factories, not by individual artisans. The durability of Christian Louboutin shoes is moderate. The red sole, while iconic, is actually a design flaw from a practical standpoint. The red sole is made from a rubber compound that is less durable than standard shoe soles. Many owners report that the red sole starts to fade and wear away after 6 to 12 months of regular wear, which defeats the entire purpose of buying the shoe. Once the red sole fades, the shoe loses its primary value proposition and becomes just another expensive shoe. The resale value of Christian Louboutin is extremely poor. A shoe that costs 3,000 Canadian dollars will resell for 800 to 1,000 Canadian dollars, which is a 60 to 70% loss in value. The secondary market for Christian Louboutin is flooded with counterfeit shoes, which makes buying used Louboutins risky. The Canadian Competition Bureau has received numerous complaints about counterfeit Christian Louboutin shoes being sold in Canada, and the brand has struggled to control the secondary market. Now, those are the 5 brands that Canadians spend enormous amounts of money on every single year, and the common thread is clear. You're not paying for superior engineering or materials. You're paying for brand recognition, marketing budgets, and status symbols. But here's the thing. There are brands that actually do justify their price. There are shoes that are engineered differently, made with better materials, and designed to last longer. Let's talk about 3 brands that actually offer something different. At number 3, we have Salvatore Ferragamo. Salvatore Ferragamo is an Italian luxury brand that is owned by Salvatore Ferragamo SpA, an independent Italian company. In Canada, Salvatore Ferragamo shoes range from 400 to 1,500 Canadian dollars depending on the style. The brand is known for its focus on comfort and wearability, which is unusual in the luxury shoe market. Salvatore Ferragamo was founded in 1927 by Salvatore Ferragamo, an Italian shoemaker who was obsessed with creating shoes that were both beautiful and comfortable. That philosophy is still central to the brand today. The shoes are manufactured in Italy, primarily in Tuscany, and the brand maintains strict quality control standards. The leather is sourced from Italian tanneries and is of exceptional quality. The construction method is called Goodyear welt construction, which is a specific technique that creates a durable bond between the upper and the sole. This construction method is more expensive than standard construction, but it results in a shoe that can be resoled multiple times, which extends the life of the shoe significantly. A Salvatore Ferragamo shoe will last 10 to 15 years with regular wear and proper care, which is 2 to 3 times longer than a Gucci or Louis Vuitton shoe. The resale value of Salvatore Ferragamo is significantly better than the brands we discussed earlier. A shoe that costs 800 Canadian dollars will resell for 400 to 500 Canadian dollars, which is only a 40 to 50% loss in value. The reason is that Salvatore Ferragamo has a strong secondary market among people who value quality and durability. The designs are also more timeless, which means they don't go out of style as quickly as Gucci or Louis Vuitton designs. The Canadian Competition Bureau has not received significant complaints about Salvatore Ferragamo's marketing claims, and the brand's reputation for quality is well-deserved. The brand is available in Canada at Holt Renfrew and select boutiques, and the prices are reasonable for the quality you're getting. At number 2, we have Haan. Haan is owned by LVMH, but it's positioned as a more accessible luxury brand that focuses on comfort and wearability. In Canada, Haan shoes range from 300 to 1,000 Canadian dollars depending on the style. The brand is known for its focus on technology and innovation, particularly in the area of comfort. Haan has developed several proprietary technologies, including Nike air cushioning in the sole, which provides superior comfort compared to standard shoe construction. The shoes are manufactured in Vietnam, China, and Brazil, which allows the brand to keep prices lower than European luxury brands while maintaining quality standards. The leather is sourced from reputable tanneries and is of good quality. The construction is solid, and the shoes are designed to be resoled if necessary. A Haan shoe will last 6 to 10 years with regular wear and proper care, which is comparable to Prada or Salvatore Ferragamo. The resale value of Haan is moderate. A shoe that costs $600 will resell for $200 to $300, which is a 50% loss in value. However, the initial price is so much lower than Gucci or Louis Vuitton that the absolute loss is much smaller. The Canadian Competition Bureau has not received significant complaints about Haan's marketing claims. The brand is available in Canada at Nordstrom Canada, the Choo company, and select boutiques. The real advantage of Haan is that you get luxury quality at a mid-range price. You're not paying for a logo or a status symbol, you're paying for engineering and comfort. At number 1, we have Allen Edmonds. Allen Edmonds is an American shoe company that is still independently owned and operated. In Canada, Allen Edmonds shoes range from $400 to $1,000 Canadian dollars depending on the style. The brand is known for its focus on American craftsmanship and quality. Allen Edmonds shoes are manufactured in the United States, primarily in Wisconsin, which is unusual for luxury shoes. The brand uses Goodyear welt construction, which is the same construction method used by Salvatore Ferragamo. The leather is sourced from American tanneries and is of exceptional quality. The brand offers a lifetime warranty on the construction, which means that if the sole ever separates from the upper, Allen Edmonds will repair it for free. This warranty is unique in the shoe industry and reflects the brand's confidence in its construction quality. An Allen Edmonds shoe will last 15 to 20 years with regular wear and proper care, which is the longest lifespan of any brand we've discussed. The resale value of Allen Edmonds is excellent. A shoe that costs $600 Canadian will resell for $300 to $400 Canadian, which is only a 30 to 40% loss in value. The reason is that Allen Edmonds has a strong secondary market among people who value quality and durability. The brand is available in Canada through online retailers and select boutiques, and the prices are reasonable for the quality and longevity you're getting. The Canadian Competition Bureau has not received significant complaints about Allen Edmonds' marketing claims, and the brand's reputation for quality is well-deserved. So here's what we've learned. The luxury shoe industry in Canada is designed to make you believe that paying more means getting more. But the reality is that the 5 most expensive brands in Canada are selling you brand recognition and status symbols, not superior engineering or materials. You're paying 4 to 5 times more for a shoe that is maybe 10 to 15% better made. That's not a good investment. On the other hand, brands like Salvatore Ferragamo, Haan, and Allen Edmonds are actually engineering shoes to last longer, to be more comfortable, and to maintain their value. These brands are worth the investment because you're paying for quality and durability, not for a logo. The Canadian luxury shoe market is concentrated, and the major conglomerates have engineered a pricing structure that benefits them, not you. But if you understand what you're actually paying for, you can make a better decision. You can choose to invest in a shoe that will last 15 years instead of a shoe that will lose 70% of its value in the first year. If this video gave you a fresh perspective on luxury shoes in Canada, subscribe because we do this every week. We break down the marketing, the engineering, and the actual value of products that Canadians spend money on. Comment which one of these brands you already trusted and which one surprised you. I already know which one will start the biggest debate in the comments. Which of these brands do you actually find in your local department store?